I see a man. I see a man.
Я вижу мужчину.
That sounds almost exactly like English to me, like for the rhythm. So go ahead and say it one more time. I'm going to see if I can copy you.
Я вижу мужчину.
Я вижу мужчину. Yeah, the sounds are a bit off, but yeah, the rhythm is like almost the same. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, number 2. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Я не вижу это. Я не вижу это.
Я не вижу это.
You definitely don't. No. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty simple. So far, it's almost perfect 1-to-1. So for Russian speakers, right, you guys have it pretty easy. Do you see her? Do you see her?
Ты ее видишь? Ты ее видишь?
It almost sounds like you're trying to say like, are you Swedish? But you're saying do instead of are. Okay. Pretty much the same intonation there as well, as far as I can hear. Do you vidish? Do you vidish? Or something like that, right?
Actually, now I'm thinking that maybe the fact that you pronounce it first makes me to copy your intonation. So maybe we want to switch it.
Okay, so for number 4, you go ahead and say the Russian first.
Ты уверен? It's pretty much the same as number 3. Ты уверен?
Okay, are you sure? Are you sure? Yeah, so that matches up anyway. Okay, number 5, we'll have you start again. This is for a WH question.
Что ты видишь? Что ты видишь?
Okay, what do you see? What do you see? For the next one, you're a student, right? You're a student, right?
Ты студент, правильно?
Okay,
or you can say like ты студент, верно? But intonation wise it's the same.
Now at the end there, it does seem like a similar intonation, but I think I'm being thrown off a little bit by the multiple syllables, because it's just one syllable in English, right? So you would say that it's still the same rhythm, it's just kind of, there's more points to it in the word.
I can make the shorter version. We would have 2 options here. The later one is shorter, still 2 syllables instead of 1. Ты студент, верно?
Okay, yeah, if I were to say like you're a student, aren't you? It's the same thing. So, okay, so pretty much we're 1 for 1 throughout all of the sentences. Okay, let's see the command. So we have a very short, simple command. Do it. Do it.
Сделай это. Сделай это.
Basically, it matches. Okay, good. 8. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Это великолепно. Это великолепно.
I could be
and
wrong.
We have like one point here. We have several ways to translate that word, and it might affect a little bit of the intonation. Let me give you the other one. Это замечательно. Это замечательно. There is some variation. You can, without changing the meaning, you can say it a bit differently, because too many syllables and you might play with them a little bit. Like, это замечательно.
Same in English. We can do a little bit of shifting. Like I could say, that's amazing, or I could say, that's amazing. You know, and it doesn't particularly matter. Okay, so depending on exactly how you say it in Russian, like the exact translation we use, it might give a bit of a different rhythm, kind of, sort of. But because that first one you did, it seemed to me almost like the very end didn't match up.
Это великолепно. Yeah, it's a bit more difficult to change the flow here.
Yeah.
And play with this for some reason.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me.
In terms of the rhythm equivalent, it sounds kind of like you're saying like, that's amazing. It just kind of like falls off. Yeah.
Okay, let me make it more amazing.
Okay.
Это великолепно. Это великолепно. It's like in theater on the stage. This is great. Это великолепно.
Okay, good. So either way, it's basically the same anyway. Okay, number 9. This is my standard sentence I always use. I want to go to the beach. I want to go to the beach.
Я хочу пойти на пляж. Я хочу пойти на пляж.
Pretty much the same. I'm hearing a little bit of a difference. Very slight difference. Even if there's a very slight difference here. So this is something that, say, Russian speakers might want to be wary of, or anybody who speaks a stress time language that's not English, right? So German or whatever. It seems like if we base it off of what we've seen with Russian so far, that things can pretty much match up. It's like may not be 100% exactly the same, but with those basic sentences, it was like one for one. We kind of hit maybe a little bit of possible variation, but it's still like 90-95% the same, right? It's very, very similar because the underlying nature of the stress timing, right, is underneath both languages. And so even if the exact sound and rhythm that comes out doesn't match perfectly, it's still going to sound very, very similar. Okay, last sentence. We have a because clause, which in some languages works very differently. So let's see. I don't want to go because it's scary. I don't want to go because it's scary.
Я не хочу идти, потому что это страшно. Я не хочу идти, потому что это страшно.
That sounds basically the same for the rhythm for me. Ask you about intonation changes. Like if they would sort of, if I were to change this in English, would it sort of mirror in Russian how you would use the tone? So let's say sentence one, right? So if I were to say I want to emphasize like a man, not something else, right? I say, I see a man.
Я вижу мужчину, not a woman in this case.
Yeah.
I see a man, not woman. Я вижу мужчину.
Yeah, I see a man.
We wouldn't. The thing is that we would change the wording here if we want to emphasize. Like,
okay.
We wouldn't naturally do it with the intonation.
Okay, interesting. So that's a good point. That's a very good point for Russian speakers, right?
It's just easier. It's less. It is possible to convey the meaning with intonation, but it's just simpler and less ambiguous and confusing for the person you're talking to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do a different one here. So with number 5, right? So I could say, instead of what do you see, I could say like, what do you see?
Yeah, that goes like one-to-one.
Okay.
Что ты видишь?
Good. Now what if I do it on the verb? No. Now what do you hear? What do you see?
Say like, что ты видишь?
So number 6, I'm going to make a slight change. Instead of you're a student, right? I'm going to change it to you're smart, right? We could say like, well, you are smart, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That also similar goes.
Yeah. And that gives it it's the same basic meaning. I'm asking the same basic thing, but there's a little bit more undertone to it. It's a little bit different in a way. And I'm sort of like, I'm sort of implying like, hey, like, I know you're smart, but you don't want to do this thing. But I know you're smart, so you should want to do this thing, right? Like, or whatever it is. But okay, good. So one more. Let's say, okay. So I want to go to the beach. Okay. So if we say, I want to go to the beach.
Similar. Я хочу пойти на пляж.
Okay. What if I want to go to the beach?
Yeah, similar. The same.
Okay, so depending on how we might emphasize things, it might not match, even in really basic sentences. But it seems that between between Russian, I was going to say German and Russian, between Russian and English, we can say that 85 to 90% of the time, if not more, the basic rhythm and intonation flow is going to match up. So
let me correctly to do here. I would say it's 100%. It will be understandable. Just in some cases, it will be less natural to make it, but definitely understandable. If you make the same emphasis on some words or syllables in the sentence the same way you do it in Russian, it will be clear what you want to do, what you want to empathize, but just sometimes you kind of we probably say it a bit differently.
Okay. But the underlying rhythm mechanics
yes.
are the same.
Yes, are the same, similar.
Okay.